Okay, so our next speaker is a clinical neuropsychologist with a PhD in neurocognitive development. She currently holds a postdoc position at the Department of Psychology, researching epilepsy and memory. Together with her sister, she has written a book where they have uncovered the fascinating research on memory through the stories of people. And today she will do something similar, where she will talk about memory through the philosophical science fiction novel Solaris. Please welcome Ylva Østby.
Hey. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the introduction. So, has it ever occurred to you that science fiction literature is mostly about ourselves, about the human nature and the human mind? I often find that, at least, and it seems that all one has to do to come up with some kind of alien life form is to imagine something human and then exaggerate something. But now I'll take you to a very unique life form in the science fiction world. Unlike anything else, very unhuman, it seems, on the surface. So we'll go to the planet Solaris, which is accounted in the very highly esteemed novel written by Stanislav Lem in 1961. So humankind has discovered this very strange planet, which is covered by a very mysterious ocean, which has been the subject of much scientific debate over the last 100 years. The psychologist, note that, the psychologist, Chris Kelvin, is sent to the space station hovering above the planet in order to oversee the scientific progress there. So once he arrives at the space station, he learns that the crew there are receiving very strange visitors that seem to originate from the ocean of Solaris. During the night, these visitors materialize, and Chris Kelvin soon receives a visitor of his own. Seemingly the ghost of his deceased wife, Rhea, appears in his room at night and greets him when he wakes up. She looks exactly the same as she did 10 years ago when she committed suicide, complete with a needle mark on her arm after where she put the needle. She is, however, oblivious to her own past, as if she has amnesia. She has no idea how she got on the space station, and she has no need for eating or sleeping or anything, but she is herself very much real. She follows Chris Kelvin around and seems unable to part with him. So Chris finds this very disturbing. It's really scary. It's really like a ghost at first. And he's stunned by her presence. And he tries to figure out ways to get rid of her, but she seems only to mean well. But when she's stuck inside the bathroom, she gets so terrified that she breaks the door down, screaming unlike anything human, and comes back to him. Just like when we try to repress a traumatic memory, it comes back in mighty force. It seems that the planet is projecting these creatures taken from the memories inside the brains of the humans in the space station. And this all started some years earlier when the physicist named Fechner, as you will recognize, named after the famous father of experimental psychology, you know, Fechner. Yeah. He is on an expedition near the surface of the ocean, and he falls into it. And then strange things starts to happen. It seems that the memories of Fechner are extracted from him, and Solaris extends these weird processes out of the ocean that actually materializes his memories into physical things. And the way that Stanislav Lem describes these processes in such visceral detail reminds me of how it must be to be immersed inside the neuropil and seeing neurons and glial cells around you. So just pointing to the conundrum of dualism, how this physical properties of our brains can give rise to such vivid and real experiences. Our memories are also alive, and they are reconstructed in our minds. They are projected from our brains and into our consciousness. And I'm not sure if Stanislav Lem had this idea in 1961, but he certainly is enacting this modern theory of episodic memory in his novel. So they focus on the memory engram, which is the physical inscription of memories in our brains, or that is the century-long theory of how memories are stored. And that is intriguing. But equally intriguing, I find, is the way that our minds enact our memories and reconstruct them, partly from these elements that are in our minds, but also connecting it to our present self. So can we trust our memories? To Chris Kelvin, that is a very real dilemma when he's faced with the possibility of annihilating Rhea or choosing to actually commit to their growing relationship without revealing more of the action. So in Solaris, the reconstruction of memories becomes very real, and that's of course not what I mean is happening to us, but it is a striking metaphor. And this is something that one of the crew is saying in the book. He says that we think of ourselves as the knights of the holy contact, but this is another lie. We are only seeking man. We have no need for other worlds. We need mirrors. And in a way, the novel Solaris is mirroring our own minds and our memory. And also, funnily, I think, is that the way that our memory projects these experiences is the kind of same way that we project ourselves into the future or into possible or impossible scenarios. Quite in the same way that Stanislav Lem is projecting these characters in his novel into my mind when I read it. Thank you.